There we are. We're live again. 9 o'clock, and there goes the bells. You can hear me in the. I'm sitting in the living room with the clock behind me, so Big Ben on the wall.
I love that. I love that. It's like my grandmother's old cuckoo clock that she'd have in the basement, and you would hear it all over the house.
My husband became a grandfather, and that's what he wanted. He wanted a grandfather's clock, so that's what he got. Now the stupid thing goes off every hour,
All night long.
all night long.
All night long. Yes.
But he can hear it.
Well, he can't hear it. And then he's not
Yeah,
here half the time to hear it anyways because he does shift work.
yeah, yeah. That's
That's
okay.
funny.
It's just for the house. I like it. I like that old kind of. I don't know. It does remind me of my grandparents as well too. So.
Right? Exactly. Exactly. So, I wasn't sure what you wanted to talk about other than you wanted to, I don't know.
Well, we were looking
Would you
at
like?
the article this morning.
Oh yeah, did you read a bit of it?
Yeah, I did. I did. It was
It was
amazing.
it was an amazing article. So it'll be great to
Yeah.
see I mean, this, it's just one of those, and I sent the link to Wendy, so hopefully she'll put it on there.
I
And
can put that link on for sure.
let me go to my collections. It's supposed to be a convenient way to
Okay.
find things when you put things, save it, but then I think it hogs up space. So this is
Mm-hmm.
from the world's largest nutrition study, and this is from the Medical News Today. And we don't hear about, in a lot of cases, we don't hear about publicly funded clinical studies, right?
No.
And maybe they just wanted to keep it a little more hush hush until they had more information
Oh
because
yeah.
the food companies, the pharmaceutical companies, and nutritional, I guess, nutraceutical companies
Mm-hmm.
would be hammering at their doors,
Yeah. Most
right, for
definitely.
all of that really vital information and all of that, you know but they have been adamant, well, in the report, that all come down to money really, but in the report they're adamant on just releasing stats. They're not taking funding from,
No.
um,
And the thing is, they stated right in the beginning of the article is the fact that it is so hard to get really precise stats on nutrition and health and the
mhm.
correlation between the two because everything is so different and every body is so different as
I
well too.
loved how
So
they said that. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
we say that a lot. You and I both
mhm.
say that a lot. People's nutritional values, needs, and metabolism is completely different.
Oh
So I
yeah,
love that this has been going on for 15 years, and they have gone through a couple of different methodologies of information collection, stool samples, blood samples, urine samples,
yeah,
and then doing anonymous reporting, and then doing
mhm.
interviews, and now they have a barcode scanner. So the people who are involved, like the 20,000 people across Europe who are involved, or more, they scan the barcodes of everything that they're eating because they have found that a bag of chips is not a bag of chips. Every single chips are
Yeah,
completely different, right? And I bet you, honestly, they would even vary so much into what is found in the soil where it was processed or grown,
mhm.
what pesticides were used, and I
Oh
find
yeah,
it super fascinating about the information that they're collecting through the urine samples
yeah,
about the pesticides and
yeah. And it was
herbicides.
saying that people exposed to a wide variety of pesticides, they call them cocktails, has a higher risk of postmenopausal breast cancer. So
Yeah,
understanding that people that are taking in a large amounts of processed foods and non-organic foods are getting these pesticides, whether it stipulates on the food or not. So you really have to understand that there's a big correlation between
and
it.
it's
I
not
mean,
just
we all kind of knew that,
yeah,
really,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
and it's not
nice to
just the
see.
stuff you're eating now. This is a lifetime
Oh
accumulation of
yeah.
things. This is why it's so important to take care of those major purification organs, right? Taking care of
Mm-hmm.
your liver, taking care of your spleen, taking care of your kidneys, and helping the body, and and then it'll honestly be interesting next year if we follow this report along and the study along, the impact, because they kind of hinted towards that, the
Yeah.
impact of COVID to
Yes.
people's health. So yes, we
Mm-hmm.
know that some people have thrived, lost weight, they're like in glory. Of course, I get to stay home, I get to cook my food, and then other
Mm.
people are not doing so well, and
Yep.
they
Getting
thrive off of
takeout. And, yeah.
takeout or the stress. Even though they're
Yeah.
eating,
Stress.
stress is
But
just
eating in between meals and boredom and all these different things and gaining weight and
mhm,
not exercising. So there's like two schools of
extremes.
people that are out there right now. Yeah, extremes for
Mhm,
sure.
mhm.
And like you were saying, the correlation with COVID-19 as well too is that they were able to actually see what was it? Uh, Researchers have also collected dry blood spots from more than 20,000 participants, and they were able to detect anti-SARS CoV-2 antibodies as well too. So that was pretty cool. And because they can detect that, they can see the correlation between what they're eating, their lifestyles, and everything else, and how it was connected to the antibodies and whether they were
Mhm.
sick or whether they contacted COVID and had very little to no symptoms at all. So
Oh,
really,
exactly.
really cool. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
Very
don't like how
interesting.
it does that. Put that on there, and
Your computer messing up on you?
I guess. Oh, that's
You're freezing up on me too, hon.
private. Should go. It's amazing. I think it's incredible. And this is called the
Yeah.
NutriNet Santé study. And
Mm-hmm.
with Dr. Tovier, um, they've created this grading system from A to E that's like Belgium and France have adopted when you're doing adding it to food or adding it to the processed food. And I love this new terminology that they have is called ultra processed food. Not sure how that differs.
Oh, yeah.
The ultra processed food. So I'm wondering if that's more of the new
Ultra processed. It must mean less like super, super like gone from an apple to applesauce to not applesauce to back to applesauce or something. I don't know.
well, even the fruit roll-ups.
Yes. Okay. Something like that for sure. Yeah. That
Right.
would make
So,
sense. Yeah.
those that would make sense. Or
Mm-hmm.
let's say you have it's gone from a can of soup to now being the instant soup with all the different packages, right?
Yes.
So like these fantastic ramen bowls and these faux bowls you can pick up from Costco. Like, yes, super convenient. Don't get me wrong, and I
Oh,
know you're
yeah.
trying to feed your kids at home early, and I'm not dissing anybody who's listening.
We do the best we can.
We do the best we can, and I'd be right along with you, or I would just be, we've gone from the Mr. Noodles to now these exotic sort of soup bases, but
Mm-hmm.
you've got a big box, you've got plastic around each thing, you've got a plastic bowl, um, and a plastic lid and a plastic fork, and then you have plastic around the soup base, plastic around um, the soup base, plastic around the spice, plastic around the hot sauce, and
Yeah.
then all three of those packages are inside one package of plastic,
Yeah.
and then the noodles are in plastic.
Yeah.
So it
And
was
you make
good,
it in the plastic
and
too. Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah. They're good.
it's good. Don't get me wrong, but that would contain all BPA,
Yeah. I was thinking that. Yeah.
and
Not even talking about the waste.
not in
On
talking
top
about
of
the
it.
waste.
Yeah.
We're
No,
down
but the
to one.
BPA.
We're down to one bag of garbage every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Unlimited compost,
Is it
unlimited
only
recycle.
one or is it two? Is it one?
I think it's one.
One. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure we're down to one. And I
Yeah.
think we have, we're only two people. I can't imagine being a full family of five. Then it'd be a totally different
Mm.
scenario. But in bigger cities, this is a big issue.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas everyone's going. So this is a whole, and then you've got these runoff, got all of this plastic in the soil. It's a vicious cycle we're creating. And
Yes.
so, with
Yeah.
the study, we see that there is um, this component of understanding the chemical cocktails, as they called them, um, are having a super relation to mental health and physical health, coronary health,
Oh, yeah.
cardiovascular, cerebral vascular diseases, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we've linked it, and all the link studies are in here as well. So it says um, in this large perspective study, 10% increase in the proportion of ultra-processed foods in the diet was associated with a significant increase in 10% in risks overall and breast cancer.
Yeah,
Right? And we
that's
don't,
crazy.
and the breast is the is just a it's a cup. So everything that drains through your lymphatic system, your body does a great job getting rid of everything, right?
Mhm.
In the lymphatic system, but the lymphatic system drains into the breast. So if you're not massaging your breast, you're not doing your breast checks, you're not, taking care of dry brushing and moving your lymphatic system, all of that cesspool, right?
Yeah.
Over 330 additives and pesticides and herbicides and toxins and xenoestrogens will just sit in the breast tissue. So you can see how important it is to take care of them. And I love
Oh,
this.
yeah.
It's like so he says here, and it just grosses me right out. So um, there's a wealth of nutritional data that's been collected,
Mhm.
right? And they estimate that the additive exposure for more than 330 additives authorized in Europe
Yeah,
are being detected in these urine samples. That's just Europe, and
that's
they're
crazy.
really,
And
I
that's
think
just Europe.
and that's
Yeah.
Europe, and they're way ahead of taking care of all this
Oh,
GMO
yeah.
stuff, and they've stopped a lot of that, and they're far more strict with their nutritional guidelines than we are here in Canada and in the US.
And the States, yeah.
So it's
So, yeah,
interesting.
it just makes me wonder. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
definitely going to follow that study because they are looking to come into the Western society,
Mhm.
us on the Western side of the world.
Us people here.
And yeah, they're looking into going into Mexico, Canada, and Brazil, actually, not the US at this point, but and continue with
I
the
don't think they
study.
would
So it's going to
I
be
don't think that US would allow them, to be honest.
probably not, unfortunately. Um, but the thing is, they do this all. I think it's online or maybe even through an app or something like that, as opposed to even like you said, taking and talking on the phone because they get better picture by people that just fill out the forms and do their apps. They have an app that will help screen the foods that they're taking in because, like you said at the beginning when we were talking, one pizza, frozen pizza, is not going to be the same as another frozen pizza. One bag of chips is not going to be the same. You always have these different constituents within each food product that's going to be a little bit different because that's marketing. That's the way they make their money because they're going to be
Mhm.
a little bit different.
Mhm.
But they're also taking, like I said, blood serum, plasma, urine from all these different people, collecting stool samples, analyzing gut bacteria, all these different things. But what was I saying? Uh, in the food questionnaires that they actually do too, they look at the information about food packaging, cooking practices, modes of production, physical activity,
Yep.
tobacco, drugs, environmental factors, domestic and professional exposure. So because we're so diverse people, I mean, we're all extremely bioidentically different, but we also have different lives. We also have different history. We also have all these different things. So they all take that into consideration, which
Mhm.
is amazing.
I think it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's a
Mm-hmm.
huge study, and
It
it's
is.
like it probably will just be an ongoing
Mm-hmm.
kind of clinical analysis of things. But I loved how they did say everybody is so unique.
Yeah.
Nobody in the same household
Yeah.
with the same food, nobody eats it in the same manner.
No.
And no one eats it in the same way, and everyone's responses will be different even within that same household. So it's so unique. It's
Yeah.
it's really phenomenal for the information that may be pulled out of it. So
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it kind of only, from my perspective anyway, it's only really just validating what we already knew
I know.
because we
Yeah.
know these things. And that's the whole thing of, okay, so what do we do with this information once we have it? How do we implement it? How do we not enforce, but how do we encourage people to make better choices? Like I know they have that system, that barcode, which goes from A to E, A
Hmm.
being the most
Healthy.
healthy for you, and then the E being the least healthy for you. But how do you get people to be on board with that? How do you get people to always, more times than not, like an 80-20 rule, but pick the A as opposed to the E? How do you, that's, just, like I said, we kind of know all this, but I guess without this information and without this research and stuff, we can't really prove it. We can't, it's hard to prove this, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's an interesting concept. Anybody out there listening, do you have any kind of comments or concerns with regards to something like that? Let's see here. Yeah, just because it is so hard with regards to nutrition, and it's the big companies, the big pharma, big everybody else that's going to turn around, and the farmers and everybody else. No, I'm not dissing the farmers by any means, but they're always going to go against it and say, well, no, it's not me that's the problem, it's you. It's, they're going to, no, it's not dairy, it's you. It's not, it's not beef,
Well,
it's you.
it's
It's not the
interesting
vegetables, it's
because
you.
my family, are farmers, and
Yeah.
it is just so not practical nor profitable to farm in mass scale to provide for the masses, to provide for livestock and to provide for massive people. It's just not feasible at this time in this state. And again, it goes back, and we can't remove out of the soil and out of the water systems the residual effect of these things. So again, it goes back to supporting your body, right?
Yeah. And the other things that we can control.
Yeah.
We can control our breath. We can control the amount of physical exercise. We can try to make better choices for sure. But at the same time, do we? Like, we all know. I don't know, anybody in the nutrition business or the world, we all kind of have heard it several times from people. Yeah, I know I should walk more. Yeah, I know I should exercise. Yeah, I know I have to drink more water. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it's actually just doing it though. Like,
Doing it.
what does it take for people to actually start doing it? This is what I would like to know. What is it? What is that magic little switch that gets turned on to actually
Well,
get people doing stuff?
it's true. Like, so yesterday I had a fantastic follow-up call with a woman with her thermography. And so, and she's done this a few times, and there's still some lingering things that are going on. So again, I go through that list with her, that fourfold system, like in that reduce, remove, repair, replenish, or that
Mm-hmm.
mind body nutrition. And she's done all the work.
Yeah.
She's done all that work, but then it goes back to where's the bacteria coming from? You've got to answer that additional question. So she did everything, but that original first step was identify that root of inflammation. So tooth, yeah, she clenches. She knows that she's not taking care of it. That causes that aspect. The stress management, even though she thinks she's doing a good job, is maybe part of a underlying adrenal issue, and or the gut. She's got to go back to repairing and healing the gut. Like, this is I think, her practitioners have sort of hinted about it, but she thinks it's pretty good. And I'm like, I don't know. You really need to dig a bit deeper, because you can see the inflammation throughout the body. You can understand and listen to that malaise or that general something's not right off with her, and this persistence inability to manage stress. So it's kind of, yeah, she did B, C, and D, but she really didn't take care of that A. So, and again, everyone's super unique, but it's getting that opportunity to sit and chat with Wendy or myself and go, okay, what did I do and what's the missing link? And that's what I find so exciting about being a nutritionist, right? I may not have all the answers, but I certainly know enough people to help you where I can't. And that's what I find so fascinating. And that's what's so fascinating with the potential of live blood, right? Because you're able to actually answer the questions of that aspect. Like, could it be, or is it this or that? And then when you're actually physically looking at that, so you can do a stool analysis, you can do urine
Hair
analysis,
mineral.
hair
Yeah.
mineral analysis,
Yeah.
those of different things, live blood, but
Yeah.
that it helps you sort of get back to that original first thing. What's off? What's causing you your imbalance? So I think it's super cool because I can't say broadly across the board, everyone needs to do this
Yeah.
because we know it's not true. We know that everybody is really unique and really needs to address their health differently from the average Joe.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But I think too, I mean, once we eliminate, okay, so it's not this, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this, you are eating off the organic menu, you are exercising, you are doing this, that's when a lot of those extra tests and different things come down to the, that baseline, that
Right.
root cause of a lot of things, and then working up from there. So, um, yeah, it's it's not so much even just compliance. It's just, I think it's taking responsibility for our own health and not putting the blame on other people. Okay, so there's a lot of crappy food out there. Nobody's forcing you to eat it.
Right.
There's there's ways around in this day and age, and there's so much information and so much research out there nowadays, especially studies like the one we were looking at, that is so it's cementing that theory that's out there. It's more putting it into a very scientific
Mm-hmm.
perspective and validating pretty much everything that we know already with
Mm-hmm.
regards to it.
And don't get your britches in and out if you can't find organic. Like try your best.
Oh
But I
no,
mean,
well that's it.
you
Yeah,
can
you
get,
work
and it
within
doesn't
your
need
own
to be
means.
fresh. I was thinking of that yesterday when I'm looking through I'm kind of going through and reading my 5-day hormone detox and looking at the ingredients again. If you can't get those ingredients fresh, get them frozen.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
Mhm.
Don't become overwhelmed with trying to, eat
Yeah.
organic. Organic is expensive, and some of it now is actually less than. It's weird if you watch the prices of the organics, they're pretty much the same. But if you
Mhm.
can't, just wash your vegetables properly, right?
Well,
And
that's it.
yeah, and that's all you have to do. And if not, use frozen.
Yeah.
Right? And it was funny even for Mark David. Mark David is from the Eating Institute of Eating Psychology, really phenomenal guy.
Mhm.
And even as a kid, he had eating challenges, but he was from that era of craft dinner and TV
Yeah.
dinners and all that kind of stuff where he wasn't feeling good. So he made his mom buy him canned vegetables.
Yeah.
And he started feeling well. So you just do with what you can,
Yeah.
but you're looking at trying to get more vegetables, trying to get more
Mhm.
fruit, trying to eat more naturally, trying to eat less processed foods, grow your own food. If we all had a garden tower, then that'd be fantastic, right?
Yeah. No kidding.
But you can also freeze dry food, or
Oh
you can
yeah.
dehydrate food. There's lots of things you can do.
And
Buy
yeah.
can as well. Buy the food that's all going to be thrown out anyways. Like buy all
Mhm.
the day old stuff packaged up and then freeze it,
Yeah,
right?
I know a lot of times I see in my grocery store anyways, little oranges that they have for a day old or they're just, 50%. I buy those. I'll skin them, peel them, and freeze them. Or you can puree them down and freeze them into cubes and stuff and use them in smoothies and have like an
Oh,
orange
cool.
orange smoothie or whatever.
Yep, an orange
It's
pickle.
amazing. Yeah, you can do if you just use a little bit of imagination, or even reach out to Dana and I because we have that imagination. I just
Yep.
think back of the days when I didn't have much money. So what did I have to do? Well, you do what you have to do, and you find 1,000 different ways that you can make hamburger into something different every day.
Mhm,
Because that
mhm.
was the cheapest meat at the time or whatever when I was eating meat. But you figure out ways to do the best you can, and still survive
Yeah,
without hurting
oh,
yourself too much.
I always find myself getting lost and spiraled into those damn cooking videos on Facebook, right? Just kind of that zone out. Oh, look, here's a cooking video. Um,
Cake decorating for me.
to be honest, that's my secret pleasure, watching cooking videos. Um,
Yeah.
But, you know, something as simple as when you're buying hamburger and ground pork or ground turkey or ground chicken is kind of expensive. You have to watch for sales.
Yeah, it is now. Yeah.
But for beef, because it becomes so versatile in chilies or tacos and or salads or whatever.
Mhm.
But she, you know, said, you know, you watch for mushrooms that are on sale or you buy mushrooms at the same time for like what, $3, which is a
Mhm.
half the price of that pound of beef,
Yeah.
and it doubles your recipe. And you
Yeah,
honestly
exactly.
can't tell that there's mushrooms in it.
No, not at all.
So
I've
it's a
done that
really
with my kids.
yeah, it's a great secret way to get things in there, and it's so important
Yep.
to watch that and to incorporate that and be more thrifty, especially during this time. But you want to get that nutrition value into things. So I think it's really important to
It's like moms are really good about getting vegetables into kids' foods. I used to ground up
just
vegetables to the
marinate it.
point where you didn't even know what they were and put them in spaghetti sauce. And that was one of the ways that I would just get a lot of vegetables into my kids when they were growing up. And nowadays, I mean, they're both vegetarian now. So I don't know if that was the reason behind it, but it's just, you know, that basis of, well, do what you can until they know better, or you know better, or
Mhm.
you only do what you can do
Yep.
until you know better, kind of thing, you know. So yeah, very, very interesting. So tomorrow we are going to be looking at going live with people
Yeah, I think
through
I might
Zoom.
go. Yeah, so if you have questions, message us about
Hmm.
what you'd like answered. But I
Yep.
think I'll go
And
into my membership, not my membership, but go into my two Facebook private groups, and
hmm
they usually have a question. So I'm going to go back in there and look and see, and we'll talk about that. And then tomorrow as well, um, we're going to do our draws for our grand opening.
yes, yes.
Very exciting. So try and squeeze in some time with Miss Dawn Condon and
hmm
get that done.
I'll be doing it virtually as always.
Hmm.
So I'll be on with you guys. I don't know if you're going into the office or not, but I'm
Well,
gonna.
we'll get the names compiled up for you, and you can get your spinny wheel thing happening, and add the names to it, and then you can be the Vanna White. I will expect
How's
fancy hair
that?
and lipstick. I see we were
Well,
going with the same theme today. I was thinking we would
yes.
make Thursdays retro Thursdays, and we would sport something retro every Thursday. I'm so impressed that my hair is long enough to do this. I've always kind of wanted a big scrunchy, messy pony
Scrunchies.
on top
Yeah.
of my head. I was always so
I
jealous.
lived in scrunchies for
Always so
years.
jealous. But Jaden was so nice to leave a scrunchie out for me to find. And so, yeah, I'm sporting the scrunchie. I'm sure my kids are like, oh my gosh, mom, seriously?
But what's old is new again. What was I watching the other night?
Oh, we
80s
were,
80s clothes are coming back, but it's not the 80s clothes that we were cool in. It's
oh,
the
that was
80s mom's clothes.
The Baroness Von sketch show. I freaking love those ladies. They probably sit around all day and just try and think, or they're writers probably. What is the craziest, silliest things that mid-age women talk about or do that's ridiculous,
Yeah.
right?
I'll see if I can find a link for that. That was so funny.
It was so funny, and it was just like, you know, and I look at my wardrobe and I'm like, and even Jaden's like, "Mom, you can't. You're too old to wear that now." And I'm like, "Oh, of
Shut
course I
up.
can wear it. Shut up." But yeah, it's finding that signature look that we're supposed to have as well. And that's true. You always want to have the and it was funny. And it was so true because she was coming out with clothes that made her look utterly ridiculous. And that was the point of it, of course.
Yeah, of
And
course.
she came out because she's that popsicle girl, right? Like with really skinny
Yeah.
legs and an
Yeah.
apple belly. And but oh my gosh, she had legs
Yeah,
reaching up.
she looked really good in that last outfit, that's for sure.
But it's true. It's hard. And there are great people like Julie Berthmont. And I can't remember how to say her last name, Julie Berthmont, here in
Mhm.
Sudbury, who actually is a style designer as well.
Oh,
And
really?
so there are people out there that help you with style and wardrobe and color and refreshing your wardrobe. So it's just not about being a minimalist and getting rid of the stuff that you never wear, but it's actually putting this stuff together, that it looks and works well and is compatible as a doesn't matter how you can put them all together. And it's not just about always wearing black. That's for sure. That's easy. The whole wardrobe of black.
That's
Life is
me.
good. Life is good. But I think, after the pandemic and such, I think another wardrobe kind of, after the pandemic, it will never go away, but it's how we process things. When I actually go out and start meeting people again, it'll be putting together a better wardrobe for business for women who are 52 and up, right?
Yeah, you could probably connect with Lorna with her
Lorna,
because she
yes.
connects. She does business suits for women that
Yeah,
are just getting back into the workforce and stuff like
into
that.
the
So when we
workforce.
actually start getting back into business and getting out into the world, we're gonna need a new wardrobe for
Yes,
sure.
we all need, and I love how Dawn had said the other day, because they still sort of meet virtually with their Rotary, and I, she's like, "Yeah, I'm just going to get dressed up like I'm actually going to the meeting. I'm putting on my business suit," because she
Well, that's
lives in
good.
her yoga attire
Yeah.
24/7, right? So, because she's teaching virtually all the time, so if you're going live and you're in business and you're at work, just put your darn clothes on and dress for
Even
success.
half.
Even half. Pajama bottoms.
Yeah,
Snip up.
I met a woman from Calgary, and she was coming on and doing a special presentation last night in our one of our groups, and she was all dressed up to the nines too. And she had posted a video prior to it. I didn't see it till afterwards, but she was like, "Okay, everybody, I have to go to this very important meeting," and she was talking to like she's got 1,000 people on her Facebook. So how do I look? She gets up and starts dancing. Actually, it was a beautiful purple suit, but she's got amazing legs, and her skirt was a little bit high, but she's like, it's not that high on us, and she's trying to pull it down a little bit. Should I take the belt off? Should I not? And she was dancing around and looking so beautiful. And it was like, good for you. I mean, it was just so amazing to see that. I have to start doing that. I've got my sweatshirt and my yoga pants on too. So. But I mean,
It's hard. And then this is, if this is going to be the reality of today and moving forward, which it's going to be, and being a practitioner online, we should probably show up for success. And if you're
Yeah.
showing up online for business, you should probably show up for success, not still in your jammies, which is normal, which is not, I'm not dissing anybody, because who the hell wants to do laundry? It doesn't matter. Everyone's kind of just taking their time. But I think it's you know what, honestly, I'm going to call it. You're going to know this now, folks. I'm calling it. The Weekenders outfit wardrobe ensemble is going to make a comeback.
Weekender.
The Weekenders, where they have the stretchy gaucho pants and the stretchy skirt or the longer skirt, and they have the matching jacket and the matching shirt. You don't know what that is?
No.
Oh, I'll post a picture.
Please do.
I'm like,
I was
anyways,
never
it's
one of the cool
very
kids.
80s, very super 80s. I'm always like,
You're a couple of years younger than me, though,
yeah,
too. So.
where are those really great, where are those really great outfits, right? So anyways, okay, I'll let you go.
All right. All right.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a super
All
duper day. Get outside and enjoy the sun today. And we will meet you again tomorrow morning at 9 for a question and answer period.
Yeah,
And
I
come
put a
live with us. And Wendy has posted the live code, or
Zoom
she'll
link.
post the Zoom code. It's right there, actually. And
It's right there, but I'll put it a couple of
just for
places
giggles for everybody, she has put on the Baroness Van sketch show on there.
because laughter is the best
I
medicine.
just kill myself with those videos, and I'll show my husband, and he won't get it at all.
No, well, it's for women. That's
They're for
why.
women. They're for women or gay men.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it's. But he's just like, I don't find that funny. I'm like, I'm sorry. It's all day funny.
It's all day funny.
All day funny. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
See you tomorrow.